Hello and welcome back to my channel. So we have the British Museum being the British Museum. This time around they stole the Chinese translation from Q-Jin. No attribution, nothing. Let's get into the videos and then we're gonna talk.
The British Museum be British Museuming again. This time they held an exhibition called Cultural Creativity in Qing Dynasty China. And guess what they did? One of the focuses was on feminist poet and activist Qiu Jing. And of course that included the translations of her poetry. Here's the thing, the translations were ripped straight off Yiling's website. No attribution, no nothing. To make matters worse, the two in charge, Jessica Harrison Hall and Julia Lovell, both white women, they were paid $719,000 between 4 years. The only reason that the British Museum acknowledged that this translation was stolen at all was because Yiling noticed this and her tweet went viral. And as you can see, they sent her an apology and then offered to pay her £150. Friendly reminder, this is how much they paid the people who ripped off the translation. And yeah, since then in the exhibition, they completely removed all note of the translation at all. Audacious and ridiculous. If you want to support the translator, you can follow her Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You should also pre-order her translation of Qiu Jing's poetry. You can alternatively buy a Ko-fi, leave a very sternly worded review on their Google page, condemn or directly protest outside the museum so that other people know. By the way, each attendee pays £18 to see this exhibition. And please, if you can, use your own platforms to bring light to this issue as well, because I'm just one person. I haven't seen many people talk about this on other platforms, so we need to raise more awareness because it's unacceptable. The British Museum be British Museuming again.
Please check out that creator's entire video. She's covering how, as part of their current China's Hidden Century exhibit, the British Museum stole poetry translations from a living Chinese-Canadian writer without acknowledging them, asking them permission, or paying them. And she covers actions you can take to help support the writer. Something I want to add is the entire exhibit is about Chinese culture during the turmoil of the 1800s, and that takes a lot of audacity on the part of the British Museum, given how much of that turmoil was caused by the British through imperialism, colonialism, and the Opium Wars, and how many of the items in the British Museum's collection were looted from China during events like when Elgin ordered the looting and destruction of the Summer Palace and the Old Summer Palace in 1860. And in case that name sounds familiar, yes, that is the son of Lord Elgin of the Elgin Marbles. But here is an example of one of the items that's on display. This is a portrait of Queen Victoria's Pekingese dog, Ludi. And no, it's not the portrait that was taken from the Summer Palace, it was Ludi himself. When Elgin ordered the looting and destruction of the Summer Palace, this dog was taken and given to Queen Victoria and named Ludi because it was fitting and they thought it was funny. Given the history and the inclusion of items like that, it's not surprising that reviews of the exhibit describe it as lacking in depth, confused, and discombobulating. Because let's be honest, the British Museum doesn't care about Chinese culture or history. It just wants an excuse to display trophies from over 100 years of looting and destruction in China. So of course it's not able to create a coherent narrative about it. But the British Museum also knows that visitors are more than happy to pay £18 for the opportunity to gaze upon those items, whether it's sold to them as a coherent historical narrative or not.
Okay, so after taking legal actions against them, here's an update from this writer. I am happy to announce that the British Museum and I have reached a settlement after they used my translations of Qiu Jin's poetry in the China's Hidden Century exhibit without permission, pay, or credit for over a month. And their later action of removing both my translations and Qiu Jin's poetry from the exhibit. On Tuesday, July 11th, very soon after I officially obtained legal representation, thanks to the support of many folks who spread the word and donated to my Crowd Justice Fund, the British Museum's director Hartwig Fisher reached out to me to make a proposal essentially matching the reasonable terms that I had proposed to them several times before launching my legal fundraiser. I appreciate that the museum has come around. It is frustrating that this did not happen until I went through all the trouble to fundraise and obtain legal representation. You guys, let me know what to think about this video. British Museum being British Museum. Guys, let me know what to think about this video in the comments section below, and I'll see you in my next one.